This is Mid-Atlantic Women in Agriculture's Wednesday webinar, Flickr. Our presenter today is Michelle Walfrid, Communications Specialist with University of Delaware. All upcoming presentations, along with all archived presentations, can be found at our website. And a special thank you to our sponsors, Mid-Atlantic Farm Credit and PNC. Thank you for listening.
Why Flickr? Well, Flickr is a personal cloud backup of photos. Cloud being the entity or the invisible entity in the internet. When you take pictures and you store them on your computer, this is what most people do. You have a file that says pictures, and that you might have iPhoto or something like that. But you'll store your pictures from your camera onto your computer, and that's how most people do it. However, if something were to happen to your computer, or if your house were to fall into a sinkhole, or any kind of crazy what-if situation, you could lose all of your photographs. So cloud storage provides backup for that. A lot of people today are using Facebook, or they're using Instagram. Again, this is a way that you can say, oh, that's why in fact, that's why I like Facebook, because I can put pictures up of my daughter's wedding or my grandson or so, and then I can share those with people. And they're private as long as my Facebook settings are private. But Facebook does something, when you upload pictures, and you may be uploading photographs that are 2, 3, 4 megabytes in size, Facebook will, generally speaking, compress them. And they assign them a very long number, and they compress them so that they're web friendly, so they're not high quality. You can do that, but it takes a really long time. So there's lots of websites out there that do photo sharing. Shutterfly is one. Some people use Picasa, which is a Google product. That's nice. But Flickr has been around the longest. It's owned and operated by Yahoo, but it is, of all of them, the most user-friendly. It is the site that a lot of professional photographers use. And so you can choose to store your personal photographs or not. That's entirely up to you. Some people don't feel comfortable with having family photos, weddings, christenings, birthday parties. They don't want their family on the internet. They want to keep them on their computer. Thank you very much. So that's fine. You may not want to use Flickr for that. It's just an option. But as women in agriculture, as we've talked before, agriculture is being discussed in social media, and it isn't always friendly. A lot of early adopters, these are people 18 college age up to about 35, are very engaged in social media, and they're discussing where their food comes from, and they're discussing how it's produced. And there's a lot of activity that, quite honestly, bashes agriculture. It's organic or nothing else, and there's nothing wrong with organic food. At the University of Delaware Cooperative Extension, we promote organic foods. We help growers to grow organic farms, but also production agriculture is also something we support. So one is not better than the other, but this is not always being discussed in social media. So any kind of positive photographs about agriculture or your business or ag-related business, Flickr can help with that. If you have an ag-related business, if you have a winery, a creamery, if you have a farmer's market, you might have a large orchard with a retail component to it. So maybe you're selling jams and jellies and soaps and candles made by local vendors, or what they call value-added products. Maybe you just have a produce road stand. You can use Flickr to help drive business to your main website, and it is quite powerful in that regard. So if you have a business or know of someone who's in a business, Flickr can be a great asset for you. Flickr, you can reach it by going to www.flickr.com. The Flickr brand is lowercase f, and there is no e, so I'm not, I am an English major, I didn't spell this wrong. It is, unless you're beginning the sentence, then you capitalize it. It is the largest cloud service photo sharing on the internet. It provides people with 1 terabyte of photos. of storage. That is huge. I think we'll take a look, but Sussex County 4-H has a Flickr site, and at last count, they had close to 20,000 photographs, and they only reached 3% of their storage capacity. So you will be able to have literally hundreds of thousands of photographs, depending on their size, years and years and years worth. It is completely free, but they do offer, if you're for instance familiar with Pandora, which is a internet radio station, you can get it for free, but you're going to listen to ads. Flickr does the same thing. It has a pro account. It's $24.95 a year. The University of Delaware does use the pro account because we're not in the we are unbiased. That's one of the things that distinguishes cooperative extension specifically, is we don't endorse, we don't have an interest in endorsing one product over the other, so we don't do ads. Also, the pro account enables you to have visitation statistics, so you can actually see who's looking at your photographs and how often. So that's something that we're interested in doing. And it serves as a backup storage to your photos. And Flickr retains the original resolution, so depending on your camera, you could be uploading a photograph that is 4 megabytes in size. It will not compress. It uploads the original, but it then will give the viewer and also yourself the option of downloading the original resolution or anything lower. So when I take photographs, the reason I like Flickr is reporters will say to me, do you have pictures of this event? Do you have the original resolution? Well, I'll create an album, or what used to be called a set. So if I say set, I mean album, but I've said set for like years. I'll create a set, and then I'll send the news agencies a link, and I'll say, here's the set of photos I took. And they can go on and they can pick out what they like, which is nice because then each news outlet will be a little bit different. And then from Flickr, you can easily connect to social media if you want. They have buttons there that can connect to your Facebook account, your Twitter, Pinterest, or Tumblr. Google image search, and I wrote down that this is the #3 search engine. This actually fluctuates. Google is the #1 search engine in the world. I think Bing might be #2, so Bing is the Microsoft version. YouTube, I think, is 3 now. Sometimes it goes to 2, but people actually go on YouTube now to find out stuff, not just to look at a music video. But Google image search, when you go to Google, and then a lot of people will switch right over to image search. They're looking for a picture of a ladybug. They're looking for a picture of Delaware corn. They're looking for a picture of whatever. And your photos can be part of that image search, or they cannot be. That all depends on you. We have found, and I have found personally with my own blogs, that a lot of the people who have come to my site and have come to our site have come through Google image search and Google and Bing image search. So people are specifically looking for a picture, and then they're given the option to connect to where that picture originally showed up. Did it show up on your website? Did it show up in Flickr? So no one will ever search for DSC 1031 or 102. These are the file names. Sometimes it'll say image, but these are the file names that are associated with your image when you take them on a camera. And so if you upload a picture, and this is one of my pet peeves with website, any website you have. If you're uploading a picture of a beautiful crop of strawberries that you just harvested and you're putting it up on your website, and if the image is called DSC 101 or DSC 102, you're doing yourself a great disservice, because people will be looking for Delaware strawberries on the web. And if your picture is named DSC 101 or whatever the number is, they'll never find it. They'll never find it. They might find it if they go to your website. So by naming your pictures with keywords, You are assigning an identity to that industry, to that business. You're helping to redefine what Delaware agriculture is, or Delaware strawberries are, or corn, or lavender, or whatever the case might be. So you want to make sure that you're describing this picture. And then with Flickr, you have the ability to put your website, any kind of a link in the description. So they may have come to the photograph for a completely different reason, but while you're there and while you have their attention, you can say, hey, if you want to know a little bit more about XYZ, here's some information. We did it with Master Gardeners. We had a picture of Master Gardeners. People were looking at it. They did a workshop on fairy gardens, which is very hot right now. And so those pictures got a lot of traffic, but about every fifth or sixth picture I put in a link that said, if you'd like to learn more about Master Gardeners, or if you'd like to see what other workshop Master Gardeners have, click this link. Now you don't have to do that, but if you're getting, and you will see, you will get hundreds if not thousands of people will look at your image. There's an opportunity right there to make a customer out of them, or to educate them on something that you do, or about, or just to advocate about agriculture. If you're in the 4-H, you could tell them about this is an opportunity to say, hey, click on this link and learn a little bit more. So it's a picture plus so much more. This is an example of the fairy garden. This was made, let me get my little sharing arrow out here. And it always disappears on me. I have to find it. Bear with me a second. You see it? Oh, there we go. This is a little picture of a workshop. She planted this fairy garden, which has a lot of sedums, and she planted it in a hypertufa, which is a handmade concrete rustic pot. So I captioned the photo. It doesn't say DSC 101. It says a miniature garden in a hypertufa pot. And then in the description section of Flickr, I used it to promote what Master Gardeners do, and it has an active link. You will notice 156 people saw this particular photograph. We'll go into this in a little more detail, but you can add tags. Flickr, the one thing I don't like about Flickr, the one drawback is, unlike WordPress, if you're used to tagging in WordPress, you cannot have a space. It will separate it out. So Delaware just becomes Delaware, cooperative becomes a word, an extension, and they don't mean anything unless they're connected. So that's the one thing with Flickr. You need to link your words all together if you want to join them. And I've started now to use hashtags in some of my tags. So this is an example. This set, I think we took 80 pictures of this set, and so the set has a link, and I sent that out to Flickr, and maybe it was on our website. People would click on it, and they could see the whole workshop and all the photos. That set had 63. It said it had 63 photos in it, but each individual photograph will total more than the actual views of the set, as I'll show you. If that was confusing, I'll explain in a minute. Photos on Flickr, they're all uploaded chronologically to what's called a photo stream. And then they are typically organized by events or albums, and they used to be called sets. And you can individually change the privacy settings of the photos. You can set the whole album to have a privacy setting. You can make your photographs private, friends only, limited sharing. You can password protect them, or you can make them public. You can also select how may these photographs be used. The default is all rights reserved, and what that means, and people do ignore it, I will have to tell you that once something's up on the internet, anybody can grab it and say it was theirs. But photographers will use this and they prosecute. They oftentimes will put watermarks. In cooperative extension, if somebody wants to use a picture of corn that I took, all the power to them. We're in the business of sharing information. So if someone calls up and says, could I use your picture of pivot irrigation, or could I use your picture you took of strawberries, I will normally say not a problem. Creative Commons is another one that allows people to use it, but they have to attribute. So people who will use my photographs we will ask that they source it. So I usually don't. It's not personal. I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not looking for recognition. I might just say source University of Delaware, something like that. We do restrict people from using any photos we post for money. So in other words, someone can't put it on a billboard, or it's called non-commercial use. And that's how normally most of the people in Flickr use it, but everybody's different. I just wanted to let you know that you have many, many options of how you might want to protect your photograph. Again, and if you're doing personal family photographs, you might want to make them all private, and nobody can see them except the people that you want to see them, and that's absolutely understandable. But if you want people to know more about your business, the more public it is, the better. And these are some of the benefits of having a Flickr account, which I've already mentioned. It gives you an archive. You can embed pictures and slideshows into your website. It will absolutely drive visits to your website, and it really will make you stand out when people are Googling you. If you want to show up, Flickr is an enormous way of making you stand out. And then of course you can connect it with your social media accounts, which is really nice. And this is an example of the University of Delaware Carville, where I work. We're like a little mini campus of the main College of Ag. So we have students here, we have cooperative extension, and we have research. And when I go out in the field, when we're having something done, I will upload photographs in what they used to call sets or albums. So this one here was 202 pictures of a switchgrass study. I went and visited we had a weed school. Over here you'll see this is the Master Gardener workshop that I showed you some pictures before. Now I've signed in. This is my logo. I signed in when I took this screenshot. You will see here this is a set, and it's renovation photos. If you go on and visit Carville and click on our Flickr site, and we have a public button for that, this particular album set will not appear. You will not be able to find it. You will not be able to access the photographs because we're in the middle of renovating this, and it's got more people tearing up things, and that's not what we want to have out there in the public. So it was just for us. We wanted to be able to have a record of it 5 years from now. I'm not working here anymore. Somebody wants to say, oh, what did that building look like before it got renovated? They would be able to do that because I have it here, but it is private. So what I'm going to do is I prepared a PowerPoint, but I'm going to stop this for a second, and I'm going to share my screen instead because this will give you sort of a live version. This PowerPoint that I have for you will be on the Women in Ag photograph. So this here, we have, what I operate is we have a University of Delaware College of Agriculture has a Flickr account. Delaware 4-H, the state organization, has a Flickr account. We have a Sussex County 4-H account. This is the oldest one. We've been here since 2008. We have 222 albums, and if I looked, I think we probably have 20,000 photographs within these. And you'll see some albums only have 4 photographs, some have 107, some have 136. We also have the Carville page, and let me click on that. This is Carville's page, and you will see these are some albums. These are some of the albums here. So what I do is I go out and I go out and I take pictures, and then I upload them. When you sign in, now in order to sign into Flickr, you do need to have a Yahoo email account. This is 100% free. You don't have to use the email address. I don't. I created the Yahoo account, and after that, I really don't use the email service. I just want it for Flickr. So today, this morning, I went to, we're having 2000, we have a farm tour every day, or rather every year. Sussex County 4-H partners with Hopkins Farm in Lewis, Delaware. They open up their farm and they invite school children in to look at how food is made. They tour a working dairy farm. And so it's a really nice event. So this morning I took photographs. So I'm going to show you that. Now what I did is I go to my computer, and you're looking at my screen. So this is my computer. So here's my Nikon that I use today. And if I open that up, these are the photographs that I took. Now normally what I will do is I will copy all of them like that, and I drag them to a folder on my desktop, and I have already done that because that will save a little bit of time. So here's my folder right here, and it's the same pictures, and you'll notice they're all named DSC and so forth. Now this is, I move them off of my camera. So however you upload your photographs from your camera, my practice is to create a folder for that event, and then I copy all those on there. And then I go back to my camera, I delete. You should never, by the way, ever delete your pictures from your computer that are on your scan disk. You should always put your scan disk back into your camera and delete them from your camera. They were taken on your camera, they should be deleted on your camera. Once I've moved them into my folder on my desktop, I can do a quick edit here. I'll open these up, I'll look at them real quick. Let me see, I'm going to move it over. I have a double monitor. I'll take a look at the photos and I'll just make sure there's nothing embarrassing. You don't have to worry about turning them around. I don't want, that's not that great of a photograph, but let's assume that this was blurry or he had a bad expression. I never want to ever try to do anything that makes anybody look bad. I usually take 5 or 6 of the same thing, so usually I'll take the best of those 5. So I can go ahead and I can delete that now, and I'm not going to be uploading that to Flickr. But I'll do a quick run through of the photographs. Okay, so these look pretty good. I'm not going to really worry about them. All right, so I've got the folder on my desktop right here. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to upload these to my Sussex County 4-H Flickr account. This might be your winery account. So you can start thinking of things that you would want to upload. You can upload recipes. You can upload how your products are used by other people. You could have a workshop on the different kinds of bottles and grapes that you use. It could be, each one of these sets could be a different season. If you rent your facility out for weddings or special events, you could do that. You could even, but if it was somebody's wedding, of course, that could be, they would have their own photographer. But if you want to, anything that would showcase what you do, you could have meet our staff. That could be a set. So start thinking about the different ways that these photographs can work for you. I want to upload these photographs. So I hit the upload button, and that was at the top. And it's asking me now, I could drag and drop them all over. And if you have 3 or 4, that's great. But I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. Excuse me. So I'm going to choose photos. It's going to say, what photos do you want? Well, I don't want these. I want to go to my desktop, and I'm going to look for that folder that said 4-H Farm Tour, because that's the one I just created. And there it is right there. And I'm going to hit Shift. I'm going to hit the top, and I'm going to hit Shift. I'm holding the Shift button. I'm going to click the bottom. You could also go here and say select all. That would be another way. You'll see they've all been highlighted as blue. They all have these crazy numbers down here, which we're going to fix in a second. And I'm going to open that, and they're going to start uploading. Flickr is pretty quick. If you'll notice, Flickr is turning around the ones that were sideways, the ones that I did portrait. I try to mix it up. I try to take pictures in landscape mode and in portrait mode. And I have a pretty decent, I'm uploading 75 photographs right now, and it's kind of doing its thing. This might take a little longer depending on the kind of internet. If you've got 400 pictures or 300 pictures, you may want to upload 50 at a time just because you can get them going. All right, so these pictures are named numerically and they all have a place for description. Over on the left-hand side, you will see replace the 75 titles. I want something up here. I can go back in later and really tweak this. I can call this Farmer McGregor. I can call this Jill and Tammy. I can call this Master Gardener. But right now, I just want to get them up there. But I want to get them up there in a way that this is going to work for me, or for my business or my organization. In this case, it's 4-H. So I'm going to replace the 75 titles, and I'm going to call this 4-H Farm Tour 2014. And that's good enough. I'll make that capital. Under the description, Google will search these titles. It will search what's in the description. So I am going to say here that Hopkins I have to type Hopkins family opens their Lewis farm for UD. I'm just going to plug UD extension because it's part of what extension, and Sussex County 4-H. So that area school children can learn about how their food is made. We also new this year, we also focused on summer safety. All right, so that's going to populate every single one of these. I'm also going to want to do tags. Tags are keywords associated with the photograph. Tags is primarily for Flickr users, and Flickr, I don't know what their number is. They have thousands and thousands and thousands of members, and you could go on Flickr and then say search sunflowers, and every member that tagged their photo sunflower will come up. People are interested in agriculture and will look for agricultural. They'll look for wine, they'll look for ice cream, they'll look for fire engines. You would be amazed what people are collecting photographs about things. So your tags are very important, and you do want to remember that if you have if your place is called Hopkins Winery, you would have to make that all one word. So here I'm going to put University of, and I already have it. It's coming up because I've used it before. It remembers that. I'm starting to use hashtags. So farm, DE, agriculture, dairy, 4-H, and I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to do it 4-H like that. I'm also going to do it the hashtag way, which is 4-H. I'm trying to cover all my bases. Just in general, this is just Delaware, Sussex County. You could go on and on and on with what you might want to. This, for instance, was the Cape Henlopen School District visited today, so I might do Cape Henlopen School. I might do students. You could go on and on and on, but that covers a wide variety of it. Now you could add this to albums. You could notice here that the default is the owner settings are all rights reserved. You can edit that at this point, and it's going to tell you what you might want to do, and you could edit. You can make it anybody can use it as long as they attribute it to me, and it can't be used in non-commercial. So they give you all these different. Creative Commons it's sort of out there for everybody, but you will require attribution. But they don't have to they wouldn't, if I said Creative Commons, they would not have to call me up and ask me if I could use the picture. They would just use it and then say photo source University of Delaware or photo source Sussex County 4-H. They could use our account. I usually just leave it at all rights reserved. I let them come to me. You can make it publicly searchable. Do you want this to be able to be Googled? You can change that. You can also change who gets to see this. Is it visible to everyone, or is it just your friends and your family? And you can change that. So I leave it this public. This was a public event, so I'm leaving it that way. If you say only you, that doesn't mean that everybody can't see it. If you send them a link to the picture, they will be able to see it. So I could say only me, but the minute I send the link out to somebody, then they're able to see it. So you have many, many options here, which is something I really like. But I'm doing this all up front, so I don't really have to worry now. But I want this 4-H in here. I could go back and say, you know what, that's good, but I really want it to say Delaware 4-H. Because 4-H could be Washington State 4-H. Well, I don't want that. I want it. I'm looking at this from a promotion angle. How is this going to help me, my company, my business, my organization? I could even say Sussex County in here. This gets to be a long title, but I could do that because the title is the #1 thing that it searches for. And then it will upload. Now, if I just click upload now, it will upload to what is called the photo stream. That is the default collection pot, if you will, for your photographs. Your photo stream is chronological. It is the base for all of your photographs. And that's fine. I could go ahead and I could put just these, and they'll always be in your photo stream no matter what you do with them. You can put them in an album, but they'll always be in your photo stream. But I want to add these to an album. I want to put these in something very specific. So I'm going to go over here to albums, and then it's giving me the last albums I created. Well, I don't have one. This is the first day for this year, so I don't have an album for this. So I'm going to call this album 2000. Oh, I can't. So I have to create a new album. Now it's going to tell me. I'm going to go 2001 4. It would help if I had my number locks on. 2001 4 Farm Tour 4-H. I just wanted this. I think I'll do it this way. 4-H Farm Tour 2001 4, and I'm going to call this Tuesday because we have 3 days. I could wait until the end of the whole event, and I'll upload them all into one set. We like to break it down by days because that's the way the schools will know which day they were there and they can find it. They don't have to search through 1,000 photographs. They only have to search through that one day. So you can do this any way you'd like, and you can change it after you've done it. So there it is. It's a 4-H Farm Tour for 2014 on Tuesday. There's a check mark next to it. It's done. Now it will upload the photographs. It's going to be public. I've done tags, and it's also going to go into sets. With sets is albums, so they haven't changed it here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload this to the photo stream. Now every photo that has a pink or magenta border around it is being uploaded. You can at this point, it's going to be too late, but you could have gone up here to the top where it says add. Let me just go to upload again. Let me just upload 2 pictures just to show you. You can go up to add, you can look, once you see it up there and you go, oh, I really don't want that up there. So you could pick several, you could rotate them, you can do some minor things here. Now I'm re-uploading this, so that's why it's named the way it is, but I have already uploaded that, so I just want to get out of that. So I want to go back to my photo stream, and these are the pictures now that I have uploaded. They are in my photo stream. I have, and so you're going back to 2000. Here's where this were some demonstrations we did, camps. We have 141 pages. We go back to 2008. So, but this is kind of difficult. If I wanted to go through my photo stream and look for the public speaking contest or the leaders forum, I don't know what page it's on. It's just pages and pages and pages. So you want to go over to where it says, go to you, and then you have a thing that says albums. And there is the 75 photos that I just uploaded, completely isolated from the rest of the photographs. So here are the photographs I took this morning. Now I could go back in if I wanted to and click on any image, and this is what a member of the public can do. So they could click on that. This nice young man was from the ROTC. I didn't mention the ROTC, so I could actually go in here now if I knew his name, and I don't, but I could say, you know, John Brown from Cape Henlopen, ROTC. I could change that in here if I wanted to. But I could add tags. So in addition to the tags that I have on this photograph, I can add more tags. I can at this point decide maybe this particular picture, anybody could see it. So I could go in just that individual picture and change the way it is licensed. I can change this description if I knew this young man's name, or I might just say an ROTC volunteer is showing this man how to use a life vest. So I can say anything I want at this point, and I can add. I don't add comments, so that's just something I do, and I don't tag people. So if I were to change this to an ROTC volunteer instructs, well, say that, shows CAPE students how to use a life preserver. Now, when you go to do that, the thing you must remember to do is to hit enter, and it saves it, because I could go on now and go through the next picture. If I were to say, this is, I'm just making this up, but let's say that teacher standing there is Mary Jones. So if I went in here and I said, and this is wrong, but Mary Jones looks on at her students, and then I were to move on to the next picture. Oh, it saved it, made a liar out of me. Normally you should hit enter. Maybe I did. So we're just going to put this back as 4-H Farm Tour 2014. And so now you can go through and you can enter the pictures. You can edit the pictures. You can also, you'll notice 3 dots over here on the side. This is something you will see as you sign in. I'm signed in as Sussex County right now, but this is something the public will see. If you've made this public, they will see this. So the mother's sitting at home seeing her daughter here holding this chick. She goes, I love this photograph. I want to download it. She can do that because you've made it public. You've allowed her to do that. And she would click on these 3 dots, and this is where she can download all sizes. And you will see right now they're showing you the large, but really if you want the original, sure, it's right here. It's telling that this is a copyrighted photograph, but which means people can't use it on the web or anything like that, but the mother would maybe like to have a copy of this, then she can download this, and she could download it Square for Instagram. She could download it, maybe she wants to put this up on her website, then she might not want the full size. So she has that option, the public has that option, as do you. You can also share your photographs. So this right now could be tweeted. Now I've connected, it will connect to it will not connect to a page. It will connect to your personal Facebook, but it will connect to 4-H, in this case here, share on Twitter, and then I could actually go in here and say nothing quite as fluffy as a young chick, and I might want to say farm DE and so forth, and then I could share that, and it would be because I've connected this account to this one's not Sussex, but the Delaware 4-H one is, so I'm not going to tweet that, but that's how you can do that. Let me give you another example of going to, let's see here, render. Here's Carvel's. And so if I wanted to tweet this photograph, and let me just pick up one, let me go into a photograph here. And if I wanted to tweet this photograph of tractors, I would go over, I clicked on it once, the editor comes up, and this is the share button. This is the arrow coming out of the square. And I'm going to say I want to tweet that. Antique tractor. And I'm going to just go ahead. I'm just going to share this because I want to show you how it shows up on Twitter. And it was shared. So if I go now to my Twitter, my last, and there it is, Antique Tractor at Delaware Ag Week, and that would take you a link to the photograph right there. Now, the public wouldn't see this because they wouldn't be signed in. But what's nice about that, they don't have to sign in to see it. They would just be able to see this. Well, this is kind of old news. I'm going to go ahead and delete that tweet. I just wanted to show you how you can connect your pictures to your social media networks. The other nice thing about Twitter, if you go back, now this is our Carvel one. We have 8,000 photographs in here right now. You can go to You up at the top and you can click on Stats. You will not see this with a free version, but this will tell you how many people in one day. We had 1,508 views, which is really phenomenal. If you'll notice, most of these are the pictures today. We had 3 people looking at onions. We had 3 people looking at soybeans, root knot nematodes. So this is just today. These are the pictures that were viewed. So these are like a year old. So people are still looking at these images. So every one of these, it's an opportunity again to teach somebody about what you do. But all along, on a typical day, you've got 1,221, 107. That's a low day. But this is the number of people who are looking at your photographs. And they're looking at this through primarily, you could go ahead and promote it. If I go to my, this is the Carvel page, so we have a thing on here called Flickr, so people click that, and that's one way that they see it. I might want to tweet a set of pictures, and so I can actually go ahead and let me go back to the 4-H one. Let me show you. So when we're back into 4-H again, we have 75. I'm in this set. Well, the set up here has its own URL, and that's this number up here. And I can share this whole thing. I could share individual photographs. Here's Grace Hopkins of the Hopkins family. So I can go go in here, and in fact this would be something I would be willing to tweet. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to change this a little bit, and I'm going to change this to Grace Hopkins. She's actually a 4-H'er, so I'm going to say 4-H'er. Grace Hopkins shares her family farm and baby goat with school visitors. Alright, I'm going to save it, and I want to tweet it. So I could come on here and I could click on the link. They've automatically shortened the photograph for me, so I might want to add some hashtags on this, farm DE, maybe net DE. And I might want to add, I could call out Hopkins if I wanted to, but that's good enough for me. 4-H'er, you don't use dashes in Twitter, so that covers 4-H, covers great, covers DE, and then I can go ahead and share that photograph, and it's been tweeted out. I know I don't have a problem because I know Grace has signed a press release, but these are all the different tags. And then what will happen is you'll see these numbers jump, but I could have, if I wanted to, I could have just sent the whole set. And if you go to your set, there's just say Younger Member Weekend, I could turn around and at the set up at the top, you'll see this set has had 2 views, but if you look at individual photographs, this picture alone has had 25 views. So how is that possible? Probably Jill put something out saying Younger Member Weekend was a blast. And 2 people have actually gone on here and looked at this set. But people from back ends are coming in through Google image search or through Flickr, or maybe they know that we have a Younger Member Weekend set and so they're going on. So if you look at the set views is one thing, but there's 25 right there, there's 24 right there that have seen this picture. Now when these people are looking at this, there's an opportunity here. Now I have a criticism about this set. One of the problems with this set, can anybody see what's wrong with this set? There's no 4-H in the title. This is supposed to be, we're promoting 4-H, so we would want to go back and maybe change that, and I can show you how you do that. But you want to, here's an opportunity to say for information about 4-H. Visit. Oh. And then I could do http://extension.udel.edu/4H. And that becomes a hyperlink. So now when somebody's looking at this picture, they'll go, you know, boy, this camp looked nice. I'd like to send my daughter to 4-H. If you didn't have that, they would just go on. So use the opportunity to teach something, to promote something by putting the link in. Once you've done this, you can copy. And this, if you do it at the very beginning when you're uploading them, then all of them have it and you don't have to worry about it. But you could go back in if you wanted to and populate that. You could put it in a Word document and just copy it in. But you can see there's a lot of people, 19 people have seen this picture. So when you add all these individual views up, it's a lot more than what the link itself for the whole album would be. And it's because, again, it's because they've made a liar out of me. Maybe they've improved this. I'm seeing spaces here and they're staying intact. If so, that's a big bonus, because that was one of the things that was bad about Flickr. But Flickr, like Facebook, they change things and they just change them. Like when the timeline was announced, everybody hated it. Now everybody's used to it. Well, they must have changed something with the hashtag. So this is a brand new viewer. So in this editing mode, there you have some counselors. So there I could go back in and say, what a great counseling, 4-H counselors. I could add 4-H leadership to this. Delaware teenagers. I mean, if somebody looks up Delaware teenagers, why not show them a great photograph? Why show Delaware teenagers getting arrested for something? I mean, so this is the opportunity when you title these correctly, when you tag them correctly, you are telling people a little story. So these are young ladies who gave up their weekend to teach other little children how to have fun and learn some crafts and do things. So these are young ladies who grew up through the 4-H program, are now counselors. So there's ways of, and this weekend just happened, but when you block title it in, but feel free to go back in. You don't have to do it for every single photograph, but when you have a really good photograph like this one, I consider to be a good photograph, it's a place to tell a story. So that's all you want to do. This is an opportunity. This is out on the web, and these pictures are fairly identical. So maybe on one of them you might say they're doing a circle or they're doing a team building exercise or whatever it is. There's a chance to tell people, you know, 4-H kids don't just, you know, here's counselors and what are they learning about here. Now you can also at this point go in and say, let's just take a look at, say, this photograph. You might want to, you could crop it. So let me just show you here, right there. You can go into Flickr and you can edit. And it's not the very best editing program, but you can lighten a picture, darken it. You can crop it, and I do that quite a bit. I might say just make it a little bit more powerful by getting rid of extraneous material and apply it and save it, and it'll ask, you can either add that crop to the album or it can replace it. Most of the time I'll just say replace it, and it will do that. So you have a little bit of editing capability too while you're in Flickr. One other thing, how are we on time? Okay, I have 10 minutes left. I do want to show you this. This takes a little bit of time, so I try to edit things prior to uploading. Okay, so I'm going to get back out. One of the other things you can do is when you're signed in, again, this is free, you can search. So this is where, for instance, this is where tagging. So if I search sunflowers, now this is Flickr search. This is not Google search. And you will get everybody on Flickr who took a picture of a sunflower and labeled it that way will show up. So this is how I presume we get a lot of extra visitors. People may be interested in 4-H or your wines or your ice cream or the cantaloupes that you're growing. Or they may be interested about your farm and your family farm. These are things that need to be promoted. There are human beings behind these farms. So any kind of, if you name it, it can be found. So these are pictures of agriculture. You can look up pictures of Delaware. Probably you could look up Delaware agriculture. Let's see what happens when I do that. Or Maryland agriculture. And you're seeing these are a lot of pictures I took recently at Delaware Ag Week. But that's one way people find it. And Flickr is the largest. It's the biggest. It's the best. So that's one way. If you've called this DSC 101 and you've not put any description or any tags, it will not be found. So that is the one takeaway on the web. Anything you upload to the internet should have a name to it, should have a tag to it. When you go to you will see this is your photo stream. Again, this is the catch basin. This is everything. And it's always the last one operated. The last one uploaded will be the last one showing. You also have your albums, which are here. You also have something, and you have your stats, and you have organize. And this is what I do want to show you. And organize is very important. This is down at the very bottom is your photo stream. I have 14,000 items in this photo stream. So I can go to the very, very end, which was probably in 2008. So I can see everybody's hairstyles have changed, or I can go right back to the very beginning. Or I can scroll by bar by, I don't know, there's about 20 pictures at a time. You'll see it right here. And I might want to create a press. So I could say I want to create a new set at this point. So I can go over to Albums and Collections, create a new one. Out of those 75 pictures that I took, I might not want to send all of them to newspapers because I don't know that I have press releases for them. So I could call this one Press Set for Farm Tour. And then I can drag individual pictures up that I know would be okay for the media to use. All right, I'm not going to do that right now, but I just wanted to show you that's how you can do that. But what you can do with your set, so here's the set I took of the farm tour, 75 pictures. I want to edit this a little bit. So again, I can rearrange the order in which they will be viewed. I can change the album picture. So I might want to put that in there. I could change it to something more, if it was a dairy tour, I could do that. So that would be what will show up on the set page. This would be like a little article. This would be nice explaining what this is. You don't have to do it, but this would give you an overall description. So I could say, every year for 3 days in May, the Hopkins Family Farm at Green Acres Farm in Lewis opens their doors to area school children to teach blah, 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 blah. And I could write that all in here and save it, and that will show up as a description. I could say, you know what, I don't want this picture in here anymore, and I could drop that out. And it will leave the set. It won't leave the photo stream, and this is important. So when you're saving your set, now there's 74 in here because I've gotten rid of it. If you want to delete a photo completely, if I delete it from the set, it will not delete it from the photo stream. This is the base. If you see a photograph and you go, oh my gosh, I don't want that picture in here, that's just awful, that was a mistake, that shouldn't be here, you would want to go ahead and delete it from the photo stream. If you delete it from the photo stream, then anywhere else that appears, so a photo from the photo stream can be in several sets. I could have put this in the 4-H farm tour where it is. It also could have belonged in the press set that I was going to create. If I delete them from the set, I have not deleted the photo. I've only deleted it from the set. You can, if you want the photo to be gone for good, you need to delete it from the photo stream. The other thing that you can do in here is you can batch edit. So at this point I can go in and I could change the tags, the titles, I could change all of these filters and so forth. So I could go back in here and change all the titles and descriptions. And this is where I might go into, let me get out of that, I might go into that younger member weekend. And one of the first things I would do is I would put 4-H in there, because National 4-H is going to look at this. So they're never going to find it if, oops. All right. And if you're going to go in here and change, I put it, okay, number weekend. I want to batch edit. I want to change the titles of the pictures. And what it will do is, I wish it would be able to change all of them, but it won't. I just have to go in here and I have to and add it in. So this is why it's important to get it and then something like this, you might want to say, Dear Cape Henlopen State Park. But again, this is that link I put on here. That's the HTML language for it, but it shows up as a link. So there's ways that you can go in and back edit, and with these you want to make sure you hit save and get out. So let's get back to screen share. I'm going to stop sharing. I want to share my document. I want to share Flickr. So hopefully I've given you some basic instructions. There is a PDF that I will show you in a minute that goes over all this, but I do have a step-by-step guide of how I renamed everything, how to create a set, how to use your tags, how to edit, how to search, how to use social network, how to go in and use the 3 dots for editing, and how to do that. So this is all on the PDF that's attached. How to get to your account. You can follow people. If you notice, when I opened it up, I was getting other people's photographs. You can follow people just like you would Twitter, or but you don't have to use it as a, but in and of itself, it is a social network. So remember to save. You can do how to delete photos. And this is your photo stream down here, and this is your albums to click on. So this is just summarizing the different things that you have and how you can batch edit, change the privacy at the flick of a setting. You can change everything. So you can have a Flickr account and you cannot share the things you don't want to share. You just want them for yourselves. So this will tell you how to delete. Changing your descriptions. So I've already talked about this live, but I had prepared this thinking I wasn't sure if I was going to have time to do it, and how to check your stats. You will be amazed how many people will find your photographs, and therefore they can find your site. So this is a great way of advocating. Oh, I did want to show you too, real quick, when you go on, here's some, if you have any questions, I did want to show you real quick, share my screen. When you go on to the you can take the actual set itself and you can embed it. This is an example of embedding the slideshow that you have on Flickr. So this is one set that I took, and it's very, very easy to do, but you just copy the URL, you add the word show at the end, and now within your website this will start like a slideshow, and you can change the timing of it. So if you have something that's particularly visually interesting, if you're growing produce and food, you could have all your products. So this is a way of getting that on your website and not really having to know a lot of web JavaScript or anything like that. You use Flickr to showcase your event or your products. In this case, this is a garden. So I did want to show you that.
Thank you for watching our archived presentation of our Wednesday webinar. If you would like to see more archived Wednesday webinars, please visit our YouTube channel, or to find a schedule of upcoming live webinars, visit our website.